The case of the prosecutor versus Ali Muhammad al-Abd al-Rahman continued with the testimonies of 6 prosecution witnesses who testified between 25th August and 9th September 2022 before Trial Chamber 1, comprised of Presiding Judge Joanna Connor, Judge Reine Alapini Gansu, and Judge Altair Violet Alexis Windsor. Mr. Abd al-Rahman, the alleged leader of the Janjaweed militia, is accused of 31 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity allegedly committed in Darfur, Sudan, between August 2003 and at least April 2004. These crimes include directing attacks against a civilian population, murders, pillaging, rape, persecution, torture, cruel treatment, and other inhumane acts. The trial chamber granted protective measures such as the use of a pseudonym, voice and image distortion, as well as conducting parts of the trial in private sessions to all the witnesses who testified during this period. The witnesses were first questioned by the representatives of the Office of the Prosecutor, Senior Trial Lawyer Julian Nichols, trial lawyers Melissa Sims, Alison Whitford, Pubudu Sachitanandan, Edward Jeremy, and associate trial lawyers Laura Morris and Rachel Mazzarella, followed by further questioning from the legal representatives of victims, Natalie von Wistenhausen and Anand Shah, and finally by lead defense counsel Cyril Lauchi and associate defense counsel Ian Edwards. Witness P0883 testified about the Janjaweed militia. According to the witness, the group operated from the forest and that the government of Sudan called them for assistance when needed.
You mentioned the term Janjaweed. What's your understanding of the word Janjaweed?
Answer. Well, this is a name used in Darfur. The Janjaweed are basically outlaws. They operate in the forests, they steal citizens' money, and the government needed to call upon those people because they were in a position to assist the armed forces.
You mentioned that the Sudanese government called upon these Janjaweed forces to assist them in countering the rebels. How did they call upon them?
Answer. It was by means of the local departments because they knew that those outlaws were out in the forest, and as a result they would call upon those citizens who were members of that militia and make promises to them, promise them this or that, and that is how those forces joined the Sudanese forces.
The witness further said that the accused was among one of the powerful Janjaweed militia leaders who was chosen because he possessed leadership qualities and he was a former military man.
The leaders of the tribes always would meet with him in his little shop, and they were with him there and chose him to be the strong man because he was a person who was capable of assembling people around him and facing off the enemy.
And when you say him and his little shop, who are you referring to?
Answer. Well, in fact, he had a small shop where he sold medicines. He provided medicine to people who were ill. He provided the necessary medicine. And back then, people would gather around him. He was a generous man. And they came to see in him, the man of the moment. Somebody who had leadership qualities, somebody could assemble and lead forces. They chose him because he was an experienced person. He was a former military man who had seen combat in the south. Thank you.
Just for absolute clarity, when you say he and him, who are you referring to?
Answer. Ali Muhammad Ali.
In addition, witness P0883 said that Mr. Ali Kushayab, being a leader of the Janjaweed militia, led his group to several attacks around the region where they were victorious in suppressing rebel movements. The witness discussed one particular attack.
And was this operation successful? Were the rebels defeated? Do you know?
Answer, yes. The insurgents were defeated. And were it not for this operation, the insurgents would have taken over the region of Garcilla, would have occupied it. But Ali's operation was successful in quenching the insurgency in Wadi Salah.
And were you given any information about how Ali Kushayb had performed as a commander during that operation?
Answer, his performance was good. His performance was characterized with manhood and strength. His performance was good.
Moreover, witness P0883 testified about the police force in Garcilla during the 2003-2004 period. When asked whether the police in Garcilla were able to investigate Mr. Ali Kushayab and Janjaweed's activities during that period, the witness said,
Answer, no, they did not carry out any investigations because, in essence, they had neither the capability nor the authority to hold Ali Kushayb accountable.
When you say that they did not have the authority to hold Ali Kushayb accountable, could you explain that a little more for us, please?
Answer. Ali Kushayb back then had prerogatives vested in him by a minister attached to the Ministry of the Interior. Probably those powers were granted even by a higher authority. He was able to move around with due responsibility. The police had competence only in Garcilla. Therefore, they were not able to hold Ali Kushayb accountable or interrogate him.
During cross-examination, the defense counsel for Mr. Al-Rahman questioned witness P0883 about the Sudanese armed forces, including its military and command structure. The witness also answered questions about Mr. Ali Kushayab and his leadership role among the Forsan groups and Janjaweed militia groups and the attacks they carried out during the charged period.
As I explained earlier, Ali Kushayb was just a regular civilian and he became a master. He did not attend or was not present in the first rebellion in Bulad, but his actions with the enemies in the south made people talk about him. He used to be very close to the umdas and the sheikhs, and he was very good in giving speeches. And maybe that's why he was chosen. But no one in Sudan is happy with what Ali Kushaib did. Yes, he reached a position of authority and power, but what he did was atrocious.
Mr. Witness, is it possible, with these only explanations that you provide, is it possible that Ali Kushaib simply did not exist and was invented to take the blame for the crimes committed by others?
No, there is no one with the name of Ali Kushaib over there. Ali Kushaib was only the one person who carried this name. This is the person who's with us right now.
In addition, 5 other witnesses testified about their experiences during the charge period. They all spoke about the various attacks in their specific locations and the impact those attacks had on their lives. Witness P0913 testified about attacks in Bindisi, while witness P0916 testified about attacks in Mukja. Furthermore, witness P0918 testified about attacks in his home village. Witness P0129 testified about his arrest and the inhumane conditions at the prison cells where he was detained. Witness P0878 testified about seeing attacks on government facilities in Bindisi and Mukja. The witness also testified about seeing civilians being attacked, their property and livestock looted, and their houses burnt. Witness P0878 testified about seeing attacks on government facilities in Bindisi and Mukja. The witness also testified about seeing civilians being attacked, their properties and livestock looted, and their houses burnt.
But you have described a lot of houses that you yourself saw burning and where nothing was left. Can I assume that this means that there was nothing left in the houses? No furniture, no jewels, no food, no animals, if there were any? Are we really speaking about houses that burned to the ground? And please only refer to what you have seen with your own eyes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. These Janjaweed. Some of them knew citizens very well. They knew who was rich and who was not. They knew their homes and their shops, and they also knew who had a lot of livestock and a lot of cattle. When they came to attack a village, they would race, they would compete to get to the house of the person who was financially doing well. They would first loot all that was inside the house, then they would burn the house. As to the other houses which they deemed worthless, they would just set on fire and didn't bother to loot. So they left nothing standing. That which is neither burned nor looted, they endeavor to destroy it, to make sure it becomes useless. It becomes of no worth to whomsoever. That was the operation that the Janjaweed carried out.
The trial in the case of the prosecutor versus Ali Muhammad Ali Abd al-Rahman continued on 26th September 2020 with the testimonies of new witnesses called by the Office of the Prosecutor.